All right, third graders, this video is going to be talking about perimeter. So let's back up a moment and let's talk about what we learned about kind of last week or the week right before we went on break. And we were talking about area. And so when we were talking about area, we were talking about all this space on the inside of something. That could be carpeting or tile flooring or covering something with a tablecloth or painting something. And so we were looking at all this space here on the inside, so we were using multiplication. We were visualizing that there's 3 groups of 5 squares in here, and so 3 times 5 is 15. So since there would be 15 squares, then we would say that the area was 15 square feet. So that is the area of something. We're familiar with that. We did that for a few weeks before our break here. So this week we're going to be moving into perimeter. So perimeter is the distance around a space. So let's say that this was a sandbox. So the sand, okay, we have a guest here. The sand would go on the inside here, but let's say that we also needed to put wood around our sandbox. So we would need to just measure the outside of the sandbox. So let's move over here to a few examples of what we might be working with when we're finding the perimeter of something. So let's say that this is our sandbox here, or this is a yard that needs a fence, or a garden that needs a fence. So to find that outside, we actually use addition, and we just add the length of each side. So the equation for this one would be 2 plus 4 plus 2 plus 4. And I got that literally by just going 2 plus 4 plus 2 plus 4. I like to go all the way around the shape just to make sure I didn't forget any of the sides. So if I'm doing 2 plus 4 is 6, another 2 is 8, and then another 4 would be 12 centimeters. So the perimeter is 12 centimeters. So I'm just going around the sides here. If you hear that noise in the background, that's my dog eating. What a great time to start. Anyway, some people might also use the equation 4 plus 4 plus 2 plus 2. They could do that. Some people also, now this is a little bit trickier, some people also might use the equation 2 times 4 is 8, because there's 2 kind of groups of 4, and then 2 times 2 is 4, because there's 2 groups of 2, and then the 8 plus the 4 would be 12. But you're doing that same thing here. I like to keep it simple and just go around the shape, again, so that I don't forget any of the sides. Something else you might see here is an example like this, where it might say, what's the perimeter of this fence, or the perimeter of this garden that needs a fence, or the perimeter of this picture that needs a frame, or the perimeter of this door that needs a border around it, or a trim around it. The key word is around. Now, one mistake I see is people say 13 plus 41. Well, remember, that would mean the garden would only get a fence here, and then all those animals can get in. Or that means the picture would only get a frame here, and that's kind of silly. So we have to include all sides. But what's great about a rectangle is opposite sides are equal. So 41 and 41, 13 and 13. And if you'll notice, these were really small numbers. Perimeter can also use medium and big numbers. It's the same strategy, though. Add them all up. So my equation here, since I have so many digits, I'm going to stack. And I'm going to go around my shape here. And I like to check, too, since I have 4 sides, do I have 4 numbers in my equation? I sure do. So let me add mine here. 3 and 3 is 6, 7, 8. 4 and 4 is 8, 9, 10. So 108 meters around that space right there. All right, so that's the perimeter for this one. All right, now this is a little bit different, because you might be thinking, oh, I'm going to find the area. I see all the squares. Well, I can actually use those squares to find the perimeter also. You just got to pay attention in a different way. So if I look on this side here, I see 1, 2, 3 sides. So this length of that side is 3, which means it's also 3 over here. And then if I look here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which means 8 and 8. And then I go around, and so I say 3 plus 8 another 3, and another 8. There goes my dog drinking water. 8 and 8 is 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 is the perimeter of this shape. And I actually use those unit squares to help me find the perimeter. So be careful, just because you see squares doesn't mean you can't find the perimeter. All right, so we've given all the sides, I find the perimeter, only given 2 sides, but I can find the other sides. Here I can use unit squares to find my sides to then find the perimeter. Let's move over here. So we could say that this is a pool that needs a fence around it, or it could be another garden that needs a fence, or whatever it is, anything that has something going around it, like this board right here has a perimeter of this silver. So what we're doing with this example is to show you that you can find the perimeter of things that have more than 4 sides or less than 4 sides. If there's a triangle, you would just have 3 numbers in your equation. So my equation over here, again, this is where I really like to just go around the shape. So I have 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 2 plus 5 plus 3. And I add all of them up. So here's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. The perimeter of this funky shape is 19. Whatever the units are, inches, centimeters, whatever they would be labeled as, centimeters, meters. All right, now this one right here, this is where we've had a question like this before, and some people got stuck because there's only one number. And so, okay, well, this number tells me here, but then we got stuck. But what if I told you that this is a square? Well, what do we know about squares? All sides are equal. So, 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7. Some of you might use 4 times 7 because there is 4 groups of 7, but I really like to kind of keep multiplication and addition separated with area and perimeter while I'm really learning about it. And then eventually, but I really like to keep multiplication with area and addition with perimeter, just for now. All right, so 7 and 7 is 14, another 7 is 21, and another 7 is 28. So the perimeter around this rectangle, or this square, is 28. All right, so that is perimeter for us this week. So the biggest tricky part here is just keeping area and perimeter separate from each other. Area is all the inside. It's that carpet, that paint, that tile flooring. Perimeter is around the shapes, and they could be funky shapes. They could be perfect squares. They could be rectangles. They could be anything, but you're just adding up all of the sides. All right, so you are going to have some practice questions in Google Classroom to work on with these same ideas.